Is anyone here feeling more confident about the Packers' ability to walk out of Philadelphia with a win today than they were on Monday following the loss to the Bears? Anyone?
No.
Joshy?
Yeah. I mean, the negativity on Monday was as deep as it goes.
Huh?
Matt LaFraud was a thing, Fire Goody, all those things.
Matt the Mouse. I see that everywhere.
I don't feel as bad as I did.
But you're still not picking up
I
the
don't
win.
understand.
That's what you think.
How do you be positive? This isn't a cheerleader show. This is an analyst show, you know? Am I right? I mean, what do they want us to do? Cheerlead?
I mean, Chew, I don't know if you
We're
can
just
call us...
telling you what we think.
I know. I don't know if you can call us an analyst show with some of the other topics of conversation we've had this
Especially
week.
this week.
Yeah, we're
Are we life coaches? I think we
we're
could
a
be life
bozo
coaches.
show is what we are. I do want to bring Craig Karmazin in on this. I just wanted to get the baseline, Craig, so that you know what you're stepping into. I am not any more confident today than I was earlier this week, but Joshy is more confident today than he was on Monday. Where do you stand in your confidence level on the Green Bay Packers going into Philly?
Hey, morning. I just bet a money line bet. I'm in New Jersey. I just put a money line bet on the Green Bay Packers. And you are all, and I'm not even a Packers fan. I'm a Bears fan. So I could actually look at this in a appropriate way. You are all delusional. This was a team that last year was playing a bad schedule and went 9-8. This year had to play a significantly tougher schedule, improved by 2 games. Jordan Love hasn't thrown a pick in 2 months. Last year they went in as a over 7-point underdog and beat the Dallas Cowboys. This time they're going into a Philadelphia Eagles team that doesn't have the cohesiveness. I mean, I don't know what you guys want from the Green Bay Packers, but this team has delivered on expectations this year and is well set up to go into this playoffs.
Are you drunk?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
What did
I think
say that's wrong?
Just from
What
a
did I say that's
baseline
wrong?
standpoint, I feel like we need to know, have you been drinking this morning or late into last night?
What did I say that's wrong? And
that this team is set up for
QPR,
postseason success when they're the 7 seed going on the road to one of what Chewy says is the 3rd hardest stadium to play in?
Yeah,
Here's the problem. You want to know what the problem is? Craig, you want the problem? This is the problem. You praise people when the Packers are good and they win and they get it right. You don't praise people when they're bad and we get it right. Because if they lose this game, me and Gabe have been flipping spot on this year. And you won't admit it. That's the problem. We've been spot on. We've been called negative Nellies. We've been called this. What makes you think they're going to win this game? The 5 tough games they played, they got smoke chopped. Give me your marquee win.
Right, hold on, I got to write that one
get
down.
smoked by the Eagles.
Was it smoke chopped or smoke shopped?
Smoke chopped.
They did not
Chopped with
get
a C,
smoked
okay.
by the Eagles. They did not get smoked by the Eagles. So
Are the Eagles better now than they were that first game of the year? Are the Eagles better now than that first game of the year?
I think both teams.
I'm not
going
to blow smoke. I don't have it in me to blow smoke. I don't have it in me to blow smoke. Even when I played, Craig.
Chewy, I'm sorry Rashawn Gary makes more money than you, so you have to rip on him every second you get.
I mean, you should
I don't care. I got plenty of money. I got plenty of money. I don't need any more money.
The guy's a really productive player. Look at Pro Football Focus.
Craig, when we went into Dallas.
It's not just sack numbers. Rashawn Gary is productive. This defense is way better than it was last year. Last year at this time, they had just given up 300-yard performances to, Tommy DeVito and had been Bryce Young enrolled them.
Yeah, but they had also, Craig, they also beat the Lions on the road. They also beat the eventual Super Bowl champion at home in Kansas City. There was more proof of concept.
That was ancient news at that point. Think about December of last year. They equally struggled offensively like they did this year against the Bears.
Okay, then Craig, if that was ancient news by the time they got to the Dallas Cowboys, then any positive thing this year is going to be ancient news because they've lost and looked bad their last 2 games.
This year, they beat everyone they're supposed to beat. They lost everyone they're supposed to beat. Don't overly look at this Bears game. I mean, come on.
What do you mean everyone they're supposed to beat? Wait, Craig, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Expectations for the Green Bay Packers are to win Super Bowls, yes or no?
No, that's stupid.
Expectations for the Green Bay Packers are to win the division, yes or no?
No, not this year.
Now you're
The
just
Detroit
lying.
Lions-
Now you're just absolutely
you're
straight
just
up
being
lying
a-
to defend your
a
position.
obstructionist.
They were supposed to.
Who coming into
You
this
have to
year
beat the
thought they were the
Lions.
best
You
team
have
in
to
the
beat the
division?
Vikings. You have to beat the
Wait,
Bears.
one of
Like
the
that's
four
part
of
of the
you-
expectation for the Green Bay Packers, Craig.
Okay, Josh, between Josh, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, who thought the Packers were better than the Lions coming into this year?
Thought they could hold their own.
Jen said
thought they were better
Jen
than
did say
Lions?
they're going to go
My
undefeated
bold
in the
prediction
division.
was that they would win every game in the division. I thought they would
Yeah.
fall
Then you
into
were
a second.
delusional. So just because you were delusional coming into the year doesn't mean that the Packers haven't achieved what they should.
No.
They
What I have been
overachieved
able to
last
do,
year.
Craig, is I have been able to reevaluate as the season has gone on to recognize that I was way wrong about how close they were to the other teams in the division, to the Lions, to the Vikings. And there has been no progress. That's the other thing. There's a stretch of games that Gabe likes to point to after the bye where they were putting up 30 points consistently. But even then, the eye test was they don't look great doing it. They were fine. It was good. But, it wasn't like, wow, this team is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the NFC, with the best teams in the AFC.
Craig, okay, so
Craig,
let's accept the
Did you
point.
think they were going to beat Minnesota twice? Did you think they were going to beat Minnesota twice? Because if you say no, you're a liar.
No, I went on, by the way, I went on the 𝘂𝘼𝘃 Predictathon and said that they would not sweep anybody in the division this year. And so, again,
Might have been the only
they
one
were
right.
they're so ahead. They're just so ahead of the curve because last year they should have been a 7-win team. This year they should have had an easier schedule and then been like a 9 or 10-win team. They're ahead of schedule.
But
So,
Craig, you don't buy that BS. Ahead of schedule means nothing. You get opportunities, you take advantage of the opportunities.
And when you don't, you get criticized for not doing so.
So let's just accept
But why
the
are you
premise.
criticizing before they haven't done it? They've shown they could go on the
Well,
road
because-
and win a big playoff game. Jordan Love.
No, they
No,
haven't.
played an
last
unbelievable
year's
game
team
against the
showed
Cowboys last
that.
year.
Last year's team showed that, Craig. This year's
So
team has not
Jordan
shown
Love
me
as a
that.
quarterback
So
showed that. How are you going to not give Jordan Love credit that he could go into Philadelphia and win when he went into Dallas and won last year? Dallas was a more impressive home team last year statistically than Philadelphia was this year.
Because Jordan Love was playing better going into that game last year than he is
Jordan
this
Love
year.
is playing great. You guys just don't want to agree with what the numbers
He's
show.
playing okay.
I heard you the
No,
other day.
the numbers show he's playing- Yeah.
The QBR works except when it disagrees with your eyes.
No,
Well, okay, but
QBR is in relation to the other quarterbacks in the league.
So QBR
No.
says he's 5th, Craig. Quarterback rating says he's 12th. Which one
Right.
do you think is more accurate?
QBR.
Everyone
the one that-
supports
the one-
his
Okay,
argument.
but I've wanted to say this, Craig. All right, so let's accept the premise that even though it's ridiculous because they were supposed to beat the Bears and lost, let's accept the premise that they beat all the teams they were supposed to and lost all the teams they were supposed to. They're supposed to lose this game. Why is that trend suddenly going to reverse itself for this team?
It did last year. Jordan Love in the playoffs.
But it didn't
elevated
last
his
year.
Game.
But okay, Craig, give
Jordan
me a
Love-
reason about this year. Last year was last year, man. That was a completely different team than what they're doing this year. It's
Because
way
there's
different.
no cohesiveness with the Philadelphia Eagles offense right now. And Jalen Hurts has not been playing, and that matters going into the postseason.
This is the most
Unless
Delulu
you
thing
say
you've
it
said on the
doesn't
show.
matter.
This is the
Unless you're
most
saying-
Delulu
Craig,
thing. We all watched
Craig.
Saquon Barkley chew up the
Yeah.
turf all season long. We're supposed to believe that now in the postseason he's going to regress. He's going to be some
So why is it a
underperforming
5-point
version of
spread?
himself.
Why do you think it's a 5-point spread and not a 10-point spread? If it's such a great home field advantage and it's all this, why is it a 5-point spread?
I mean, it's a 5-point spread because it's a great home field advantage and the Eagles are better.
Five is not a lot.
Yeah, but you're not going to see these lines for playoff games be much bigger than that.
Except for 7.5
the-
last year against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Craig,
last
you
year's
just
was
made my
bigger.
point for me.
Craig,
you
The
just made
Bills
my,
Broncos line is bigger. I mean
Sure.
there's a bunch of
You
lines
just-
that are
sure,
bigger.
this team.
You just made my point for me with Jason in the last segment. I said fans are basing their belief on winning this game on what they did last year, not what they did this year. Last year has nothing to do. You're only as good as your last game. That was the saying in the league. That's why you watch film and you let it go.
The Eagles
And I
just gave
agree
up
with you, the
36
Bears
points
game-
to the Eagles just gave up 36 points to the Commanders. I mean,
in a preseason
the
game,
reason
man.
the Packers would lose this game, by the way, in my opinion, is more because the Eagles have a really good defense.
Did you
Eagles'
look-
defense has been scary throughout this year.
Did you
But
look
I
at
think
the
they've
inactive
shown-
list for the Eagles? It was basically a preseason game, man.
He's talking about the
Yeah.
Against the Commanders, right?
yeah.
Gabe, maybe Craig hasn't seen your list also that you have compiled of the times that the Packers defense this year has let them down. Even though, again, they are considered a top-tier defense, if you go based on the statistics, if you go based on the rankings, Packers are top 10 in almost all categories. You were able to pull how many instances where the defense, backs against the wall, could not get a stop?
So there were 9 times throughout the course of the regular season where late in the game, either they're down a score or they're up a score, and they have an opportunity to get a stop and either get the ball back or get a stop and win the game. They came through, Craig, on 2 of those instances. Against the Colts and Rams. They failed against the Eagles, against the Texans, against the Jags, twice against the Bears, against Detroit, and against Minnesota.
Okay.
So that does nothing for you? Like those are just cold hard facts about how this defense isn't as good as some of the numbers maybe
And if
say
you're
they are.
pointing at history,
Do you know how
last
good
season
their
as
field
an
goal
indicator
kicker is? Do you know how clutch their field goal kicker is? Has anybody watched?
Yes, and we
Has
talked about
anybody
how
watched-
it feels like the one area of the field where the Packers may have an advantage is their specialists.
We start talking about Daniel Whelan, I swear to God, Josh, we got to hang up.
You're
right?
out. You're out.
Craig.
I'm just gonna-
Craig,
It's a weapon.
Dude,
Craig,
have you
which
ever
team
seen
had-
it- Have you ever seen a guy kick these 55-yard field goals as if they're like extra points?
Here's
No,
what's-
it looks like they got it right. It looks like they got it right. But let me ask you this: which team has a better chance at winning a championship this year, Bucks or Packers?
The Packers do not have one, by the way. The Packers have no chance of winning the championship.
Jeez, what are we doing?
I'm saying the Packers aren't going to string
What just
3
happened
wins.
in the last 20 minutes?
What
The Packers are not going to string 3 wins in a row to get to the Super Bowl, but the Packers could beat the Eagles.
Yes,
This
they
isn't
could. I want to be
2010.
very clear,
This
Craig. I want to be
isn't
very clear.
2010. They're not going on the road 3 straight times and winning. They're
Everyone
not-
here on this show, Craig, has said the Packers could beat the Eagles. Everyone has said that at one point, at
So
various
then why
points.
are you thinking I'm crazy town for saying that they're going to beat the Eagles?
Because the reasons that you're giving us for them being the better team, or the reasons that you think, I want to be very clear because we're getting a lot of pushback here in the YouTube comments about us hating the Packers, about us being negative Nancy's and stuff. I think we are being very objective about this team. I think we are
the
saying here.
objective things show, Jen, the ESPN's matchup predictor has the Packers at 48.8% to win the game. Like, that's a coin toss.
I like where I stand.
I think Craig made a lot of good points.
Okay, all right. All right, Josh, you got a little something
strong.
brown on the nose, bud. Wipe it off.
Are you angling for a promotion? Trying to get off this show?
I think it was a
would
damn good
understand
job by
it
him.
given the last 20 minutes that we've had here
What,
on
if
the
you
show.
say something nice about the Packers, you get kicked off the show?
No. That's not.
What is it?
Again,
That's what it is, Craig.
we have said
tough out here.
plenty of nice things about the Packers. We would all like, everybody, who would like to see the Packers win this weekend against the Eagles? Show of hands.
Well, better for
I
you
mean,
is our
Will
voices.
back
Nope.
there, you got an opinion on this? Okay, show of hands. We would all like to see the Packers win. That's
it's an audio
on
medium,
the
Josh.
record. But when we look at this team objectively, the issue is they have been clunking their way through the end of the season. The Eagles, and I don't know where you're getting this idea that they are disjointed, da-da-da-da-da. Like, you're buying that narrative hook, line, and sinker, and I just don't think that it's as strong as you think it is. They still have a very good running back. They still have a very good defense. I still think that they are a better team. Could the Packers fall into a victory? Could they do everything right? They would have to play a perfect game, in my opinion, to beat the Eagles. Is that possible? Yes. I hope everybody hears me loud and clear saying this. I just don't think it is likely.
Yes, exactly. Well said, Jen. And Craig, you don't pay us to be cheerleaders. There's plenty of other shows that do that. Okay, you don't pay us to be You know what you pay us to do? Be right.
I pay
That's
you to,
why
like,
you pay us to be
Chewy, I
right.
wouldn't
Okay,
play that
Chewy,
game.
buddy. buddy. Like, I was with you, and then you went a little too far.
Drop that.
Like, let's.
I pay you all to entertain, which you do all the time, and you do a fantastic job.
Did you hear? Did you, Craig? I know you listen occasionally, and when you can, did you hear this week about how Chewy accidentally sent his son a text talking about his mom's butt?
And that I did not hear, but that is what I pay Chewy for. I was very clear on that.
Good.
Craig,
I wanted to make sure we were all on the same.
It's nice.
Wait, your mom's butt is?
Not his mom's.
No, not my mom.
What are we doing?
Bye, Craig.
What are we doing?
See?
How did this
All
happen?
right, I gotta go through TSA pre-check. All right, bye guys.
All right, bye.
Woof. If I smoked, I would take a cigarette right now, you guys.
If anybody's got a flask, I'll take it.
That was a wild ride.
Chewy ended that segment.